Just to clarify, when did the romantic relationship between the two of you start?
Yeah, so, we get into, there's been this effort to say that, okay, these exact dates are at issue, and these exact dates are, I'm getting signaled here.
Yeah, take it. You want to go off mic for a second?
Yes.
Okay. Go off mic for a second.
Keep rolling?
Yeah, keep rolling. Don't stop down there.
That was an interview with Nathan Wade, the former special prosecutor and the former secret lover of Fani Willis, the Fulton County DA, being stopped by Wade's media consultant because it was pretty obvious he was about to lie again.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
No.
You've never gone to a cabin with this woman?
No.
For those of you who are unaware, the backstory is Fulton County DA Fani Willis hired her boyfriend, Nathan Wade, to be the special prosecutor in the case against Donald Trump and the other defendants. Something that was not disclosed to the court, and it was also something that they tried to actively cover up from being found out. Once the relationship became public and was entered into the court records, both Wade and Willis then lied on the stand about the timing of the relationship. I know they lied about the relationship because text messages and phone call records prove otherwise, as well as testimony from someone who's aware of the relationship who said it began before the case started.
When did your romantic relationship with Miss Willis begin?
2022.
When in 2022?
Early 2022.
So you were appointed in November of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
And your relationship started early. What's early? January? February?
Around March.
Around March. But you two met at an October 2019 judicial conference, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That testimony directly contradicts earlier testimony from one of Willis's former good friends who said the relationship began well before Wade testified it did and predated his hearing by the DA.
Cell phone data obtained by Trump's legal team shows Nathan Wade, that special prosecutor, visited Willis's neighborhood at least 35 times in the 11 months before Willis hired him in late 2021. Twice, Wade arrived late at night and left early the following morning. The data shows about 2,000 calls and 12,000 text messages between Wade and Willis from January to November 2021.
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
Did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
So it's obvious they're lying about the timeline for multiple different reasons, including potential ethics violations, but ultimately what ended up happening was Wade was removed and Willis remained on the case. Following Wade being removed from the case, he did an interview with ABC, where he continued to lie that the relationship started after the case had begun, saying that you can't control these things and that workplace relationships are as American as apple pie.
You and Fani meet in 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the extent of your relationship prior to November 1st of 2021?
We met at a judges conference. We stayed professional friends for quite a bit of time thereafter. Started to pick up a little bit when COVID started. We began to spend inordinate amounts of time communicating. During the course of the investigation, nights, weekends, evenings, mornings, I can't tell you how much time that we spent together. We got closer and closer and closer. Workplace romances are as American as apple pie. It happens to everyone.
So just give me a sense of the timeline as far as when the romance actually started and then once it stopped.
So early 2022 to late 2023 is the time frame.
So that brings us to the latest interview with CNN. Either they paid him well for this interview or he's just an attention-seeking attorney, because the interview by and large is very similar to the ABC interview he already did, and there doesn't really seem to be an upside in him giving another interview. Nonetheless, no one has ever accused Wade or Willis of being very intelligent, but to his credit, this time when he was trying to keep his timeline lies straight, he had a consultant standing by who advised him to not answer the question directly, and he made it very clear that Willis intends to prosecute Trump even if he wins the election this year, saying that putting a sitting president in prison would of course be about saving democracy.
Just to clarify, when did the romantic relationship between the two of you start?
Yeah, so, you know, we get into, there's been this effort to say that, okay, these exact dates are at issue, and these exact dates are, I'm getting signaled here.
Yeah, take it. You want to go off mic for a second?
Yes.
Okay. Go off mic for a second.
Keep rolling?
Keep rolling, don't stop down there. Stay at speed. That's good? Not good?
Yeah, good. Still rolling.
Okay, we're good, okay, good. We asked.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Just to revisit the question, it was to clarify when the romantic relationship started and when it ended.
Sure. So, you know, I believe that the public has, through the testimony and other interviews, the public has a clear snapshot that this is clearly just a distraction. It is not a relevant issue in this case.
Do you believe, as you reflect on this, that your relationship with the district attorney was a mistake?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The Georgia Court of Appeals has just essentially guaranteed that this case that we were talking about, the 2020 election subversion case in the state of Georgia with Donald Trump and the slew of co-defendants, will not go to trial before the 2024 election. What role do you believe that your actions played in that?
I don't believe my actions played a role in it at all.
If Trump wins the election and the district attorney next spring, when this does go before the Court of Appeals, is not disqualified from that, is it constitutional for a district attorney to put a sitting president on trial, and if he's convicted, in jail potentially?
So let's look at the question in reverse. Are you asking me if there's anyone who's above the law at any point in time in their life?
No, but I don't think it's been litigated about a sitting president, of course, going on trial. We've never seen that.
Never seen it, never expected to see it, which is why a lot of the questions about experience, no one has ever done this before. No one. This is a new animal. But if he wins the election, then certainly there are lawyers out there who will be charged with figuring out that issue and maneuvering around it.
So you're not sure if he can go on trial, if you believe it's constitutional or not for him to actually be on, if he's the sitting president. But you just talked about how important this case is. I mean, personally, how important do you believe it is for this case to go to trial, for voters to see the evidence here of what's alleged in that indictment?
Oh, it's very important. But let's back up a moment. You said that I'm not sure about the constitutionality of trying a sitting president.
Yeah, do you believe he can, sorry if that wasn't clear, do you believe he can be on trial if he's in the White House?
I do believe that he can. Okay. I don't believe that it looks good to the rest of the world, but certainly I don't think that there's anything that would prevent that from happening.
What if he's convicted?
I don't understand the question. If he's convicted, then just like any other defendant who's convicted, then you go through the sentencing process.
But I don't think people think a sitting president would actually be sent to jail. I mean, it would create a moment like we've never seen in this country with the Secret Service, with who's enforcing that, and of course, you know, he would be the head of a federal branch of government.
So now that's a much different question. We know that sentencing is totally up to the trial court. That judge that's sitting there, he's charged with making those types of decisions. Special prosecutors are not. I think that we handled it professionally. We handled it within the confines of the law, and the court has said as much. You know, I can't stress enough how important a case like this is to American democracy. And you know, that day of reckoning will come where he would have to face, or the 19 defendants will have to, who are charged in that indictment, will have to face a jury here in Fulton County.
My words, cash hoard that you had collected over time.
Cash what?
Hoard, H-O-R-D-E.
Oh, I thought you said something different, sir.